tremendous service to the country, 22 years. And that should never be looked over lightly. 22 years of service, it's a big chunk of your life. It is in our job in the military. It takes a lot out of us and our families. Mary, let me get back to you. I'd like to keep them, but we'll get them. So David, though, his career is a little bit unique. If you listen to the bio intently, he is a non-traditional recruit. He spent basically 10 years out of high school working over at Kelly Field, getting all kinds of aircraft experience. And if not for Kelly Field shutting down, you may not have come over here to the other side. We won on that, right? We got a great experienced mechanic, Airman Basic. 10-year mechanic shows up on our doorstep as an Airman Basic. That wasn't his first, maybe little misread on the guy when he shows up with no stripes on his shirt. He's over in basic training. Can you imagine? He's in his late 20s in basic training. What kind of nickname did he have in basic training? Dad. And the other thing that I know, because he's standing in formation, looking at the TIs chew out all those airmen over there. I was the airman, because I'm a retread. I was the airman shaking in my boots going, oh my gosh, this is going to be the death of me. And he's sitting over there laughing. Got him in trouble a couple times, but that's okay. He still made it through basic training. The next thing that happens is, because he's the old guy in the class, he's always the one being looked to be the class leader or the dorm chief or something like that. So he gains all these additional responsibility just because he's a non-traditional recruit. But I would tell you, he comes over to us, and this is where I feel as a member of the military, we have not got this right. Because he showed up on our doorstep with all that training from tech school, that 10 years of experience over at Kelly. He actually arrived in AMXS, my squadron, for 3 months, and we didn't do anything with him. Because all we saw was the lack of stripes. What would he know about the aircraft? And I really think, when I look at David and I look at his careers, his stripes never defined what he brought to the fight. He's a tech sergeant, but man, he was one of my finest mechanics when I was the maintenance squadron commander. I finally got it right. I got over to MXS, and he was in my shop, and he was one of my best sheet metal mechanics in the shop. I had confidence all day long that the right things were getting done in that shop. The best thing that happened for us is Tech Sergeant Arredondo got into QA, where he was able to, I think, finally perform the role that he is gifted at. And it's not just being a great mechanic, a great technician, but he's a great coach. And I used to be the OIC of QA, so if you haven't gotten my bio, I've been here for a long time. So I was the OIC of QA, and that's the only desire I ever had for my QA inspectors was to go out there and coach my guys out there in the squadron. Let them know that there was another way to do that job by the book, but help them see the right way to do it. And not go in there with the black hat and the hammer and just write them up. And David wasn't that guy. He was the coach. And I value that in the inspector. And I'm glad you got that job. And I hope over at Randolph you find your way to doing that again.
Hope so.
You know, this nature of coaching others that he brought to us was also seen in his 5-year tour of duty, basically, of a little additional duty assignment you did for us in the CCAF Aerospace Technology Program, where he spent summers of his free time working with college kids or kids looking to get college credit in aerospace, and so he helped with that program. Thank you for doing that. That was wonderful. Other great accomplishments that he's had, and you know, if you've been in the organization for a long time, you've heard this before, the torque deck repair. We often beat our chest and rattle our sabers about the torque deck repair because we saved millions of dollars, but maybe something else that we don't talk enough about, that David was part of that team, went to the Pentagon and got special recognition for it. It wasn't the savings as much as we put those C5s back in the fight when we were fighting the war on terrorism, and it doesn't get any better than that. So that was a great accomplishment, and we'll never look past that. Even though we've heard it a lot, we need to remind ourselves that's a great accomplishment. So David's deployment to Guam, Mary, I know it sucked. That was like no more deployments. His activations, you know, for him it was an honor, but it really stresses out the family, and I get it. And Mary, thank you for all the sacrifices. Kids, I get it. It is hard. And we all in this guy in the room here wearing the uniform, we know our families are back home paying the price, and it's time, right? It's time to go home, right? go fishing or something, look over at Randolph. David would not be retiring, I assure you. He would not be retiring if it wasn't for some other issues that forces him out. He would stay here and I would keep him. David, I thank you for all that you have done. I had this little quote because you've always brought more than your stripes. The thing that came to mind is don't judge a David Arredondo by his stripes. He is much more than a tech. He always has been. So David, thank you. This is a great honor that you asked me to preside over this, and I hope I did you well in speaking of all your accomplishments. Congratulations. All right.